Just to let everybody know, the meeting is now started to be recorded.
And to that end, I would like to welcome everybody and just do a quick introduction of our beautiful volunteer committee members who are saving the day by helping us with this big job of being our committee representatives. So they have a slide deck, but maybe the members can introduce themselves, and then Shaward is going to take over chairing the meeting. So in the meantime, I'm going to try my technical ability and see if I can't figure out how to share this the slide deck.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Gillespie. I am representing the Home and School Committee, and I have two sons that attend Kettle Creek, but we happen to be in the holding zone, so our family is directly impacted by the changes, and I am part of the St. Thomas Area Attendance Area Review Committee.
Hi, my name is Ashley Bale, and I have two sons that go to Kettle Creek. One is in grade 2 and one is in grade 5, and I am in the holding zone as well in the Orchard Park subdivision.
Hello, everybody.
So we are affected by it as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sharad. I am also part of the Kettle Creek Public School. My daughter goes to grade 2, and I reside in the holding zone currently on Charter Creek. Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming in. What we would be doing is we'd share a presentation that we received from the district school board. And give you an overview of what we've learned so far on different options that they are exploring. One is restructuring the grades, the other one is rezoning. We'll talk about both of them, and we'd be. It will be great if you can send across all your questions to a website that we talk about during the presentation itself. So I think, Ashley, can you present your screen, please? Or will it be you, Jessica?
I definitely can. I think Esther was giving it a go, but if not,
Help.
I can definitely
help. Jessica, I'm trying, but I'm going to tag out.
For those of you who don't know, Esther is an incredible fearless leader, but Esther's technology. No problem.
I was the understatement of the century. Thank you, Jessica.
I'm just waiting. I was taking it on my personal laptop. I was just forwarding myself the attachment so I can open it to share. There we go. All right, I'm just going to share here.
And Jessica, you'd be taking notes as well for today's meeting?
I believe Emmy is. Has Emmy joined yet?
Hi, everyone. I'm here.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Emmy. You'd be taking notes?
I am, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I think what we are doing today here is we're reviewing the options that the district school board has to review the attendance area. So these were findings and the report that were presented to us in the attendance area review committee on February 2nd, 2023. And what we're doing right now is it's a next step where we have to consult with a larger group, the larger community, and go back to the district school board with the preferred options and what kind of feedback we have. So today's agenda is to share a bit of background of why is it that we're doing what we're doing today. We will talk about the overview that has been presented to us. We also talk about some of the roles and responsibilities of our committee members. We'll talk about the attendance area review report, the way it stands right now, and of course questions can be talked about towards the very end. And we'll then close it off with some indication on what next steps would entail. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is the attendance area review? So we'll talk a little bit about this in the next slide. Right now, if you want to learn more about it, there's a website address that is given there. You may want to log on there and appraise yourself. So there's an initial attendance area review report that was presented. And on to all of us, which you see highlighted there in red. After that, the next step is to, like I said, form a school subcommittee meeting, and the next step is to do a public consultation, which is the phase where we're at right now. Once this phase is completed, we'll have a final attendance area review report, and then a public delegation will be invited. A decision of the board and trustees will then be formed, and then there'll be an implementation. Next slide, please.
So Sharad, I'm actually just going to jump right down to the proposed, because this is a bunch of stuff that we went through at the more
I think slide 17, yes,
in depth. All right, there we go. We're down to the boundary change option 1.
Okay, can we move a little further up? I think there will be, which talks about the options, the comparisons between the two. So I think that'll give a better overview of what it entails.
Sure.
Further. Right towards the end, no, not the background information, right towards the end of the presentation, there is a comparison that is presented just before the Q&A slide.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. So there are 2 approaches that are being explored currently. One is the grade reconfiguration, the other one is boundary adjustment. And grade reconfiguration is if we convert certain schools from to how they are right now, from kindergarten, and reconfigure them to operate as kindergarten to grade 6. Some schools to be categorized as grade 7 and 8, and some schools be categorized as K to 6. So this entire reconfiguration is an option that is being explored. There is another one option which is being explored that is called the boundary adjustment approach, where to better utilize the existing capacity at various schools, they are revising the boundaries for each school so that more and more kids can actually go into the right schools which are in proximity to them, and which will lead to better utilization of the existing resources. So this, we'll come back to this slide, but I think this will just put some context around what is it that we're talking about. We'll first we'll talk about the boundary adjustments, and I think that's the slide that you took us to. So maybe we can go back there and then talk through it. Yes. So is there one more slide before this one, which talks about the same thing?
It's just utilization and then the development maps.
Yeah, so I think we talk about the current utilization.
This is the actual first change option 1 there.
Okay, so the first change option 1 that, but no, I think we need to go back and you talk about the 2-way option 2B as well.
That's further down. If you want me to skip ahead, I definitely can.
Just after the background slide, please. Yes. So this is, I think, the current facility utilization. If you see, we have all of these schools, and what you see in red are the schools where there is overutilization of capacity. And what we are basically trying to do is all the schools that are marked in teal, we are trying to send students to those schools, so from some of the zones that are in red, so that there is better utilization of internal of these resources currently. And I think we can now move on to the next slide. There are certain new developments happening as well. This is the slide that talks about that. And don't worry, all of these, the presentation deck will be shared with you, so you can actually have an in-depth look. But what you see in both St. Thomas and Port Stanley, there are new developments that are coming up, which range from 20 households to more than 250 households, where there will be requirements of more elementary capacity. Next slide, please.
Sherrod, I think I'm just going to jump ahead to the holding zone returned because the rest goes into status quo and French immersion analysis, which we don't need to address.
No problem.
Okay, there we go.
So what is currently, as you may be aware, St. Thomas is St. So there's a holding zone, and all the kids that are in this zone that is marked as 1 are currently going to Kettle Creek Public School. And one of the proposals is to send 122 students back to Mitchell Hepburn, which will impact the capacity, and that is capacity utilization of Mitchell Hepburn School, and also decrease the load that is currently there on Kettle Creek Public School. So that is one of the things that that is being proposed. Next slide, please. And capacity projected utilization, if you look, so what this talks about is how many portables are there, what the portables are there if you currently in the school, what is the enrollment looking like currently, and the projected one as well to year 2024, 2029, and what the utilization is projected to be. So I think, just look at the current utilization or the projected utilization after doing what we just talked about, sending all the holding school zone kids back to Mitchell Hepburn. So we are looking at in 2021, 136% utilization of Kettle Creek, and which will then over a period of time decrease to 106%. But in 2029, it will go up to 112%, whereas Mitchell Hepburn will remain pretty much around the same numbers, 104%, 108%, and 100%. Next slide, please. Then there are these more options that are being explored to, again, even out the load and make sure there is minimum movement of students. So if option 1 is, of course, Kettle Creek Public School, students will be moving from this school to Mitchell Hepburn, 122 students. Then if you look at the map, there is a boundary that is being carved out, which is currently, so students from 2A and 2B are currently going into Mitchell Hepburn. So this is the proposal is to split it into 2A and 2B. 76 students from the 2A region will go into Forest Park, and 2B will also, 63 students from zone 2B will also go to Forest Park. Another movement that is being proposed is, if you look at the zone 3, 42 students will move from John Wise to Forest Park, and another 121 students will move from John Wise to Elgin Court Public School.
And I think maybe just for the utilization, just for time, since we have access to the deck publicly.
So the Kettle Creek Public School, based on this, we will see a reduction in capacity or capacity utilization from 136%, 106%, and in 2021, 112%. Mitchell Hepburn, we will see capacity utilization from 104% in 2021, 98% in 24, and 93% in 2029. With option 2A plus 2B in Mitchell Hepburn, we are seeing a capacity utilization of 104% in 2021. 2024, we are seeing 91%. In 2029, 86%. 2A Forest Park movement, we are seeing 74% in 2021. In 24, we are seeing 98%. In 2029, we are seeing 91%. And then again, in 2A plus 2B, Forest Park Public School, in 24, we are seeing 107% and 97% in 2029. So we can see that capacity is better utilized here, and it's going down over a period of time. In John Wise, in 24, we are seeing 60%. In 2029, the projected is 67%. And in Elgin Court, we are seeing 96% in 24 and 90% in 2029. So the proposed boundaries change here is, if you look at this map, option 5, Lockheed's Public School, 112 students will move to June Rose Public School, and then 98 students will move from June Rose Public School to John Wise Public School. We can look at the capacity utilization there. So June Rose School will see 96% capacity utilization in 24 and 89% in 2029. And Lockheed's will see 103% in 2024 and 92% in 2029. Then the next proposed boundary change option for Lockheed's is 112 students move from Lockheed's to New Salem Public School, and 70 students move from New Salem Public School to Forest Park Public School. So if this is the preferred option, we'll see in Lockheed's Public School, the utilization will be 103% in 2024 and 92% in 2029. And for New Salem Public School, we'll see 99% in 2024 and 92% in 2029. Then for Southwold Public School, there's the first option that is being deliberated upon is 176 students move from Southwold Public School or within the defined the boundary that you see marked as within 7 to John Weiss Public School. And if you look at the capacity utilization now, for John Weiss Public School, it'll be 88% in 2024 and 93% in 2029. And for Southwold Public School, it'll be 77% in 24 and 97% in 2029. Again, there's another option, two-way for Southwold Public School. So we'll see Elgin Court Public School, the capacity utilization. Did we skip a slide?
No, that's all I have,
Yeah,
unless
what I
there's
got.
one. I think 2A is missing by the looks of it.
It looks like it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
The public site one is probably up to date. This is, I'm assuming, when they did the edits for ours. Unfortunately, one got left out.
No problem. So I think what we're looking at is, if you look at this option, I think the updated slide deck will call for it. But over a period of time, in Elgin Court Public School, we're seeing a capacity utilization of 71% in 2024 and 80% in 2029. John Wise, we're seeing 84% in 2024, 100% in 2029. And Southwood Public School, we're seeing 101% in 2024 and 109% in 2029.
Sharad, just in the interest of the next one being the grade reconfigure option, I know that we touched briefly on it at the beginning, at looking into Forest Park becoming a grade 7-8 school specifically for the feeder schools in the area. But I do just want to call out that at this time, that isn't something that the area review committee is looking to pursue unless there's a overwhelming response from the committee, because as you can see, there's a substantial review process required that requires a special pupil accommodation review, which is currently under a moratorium, meaning that the city is not moving forward with requests of this nature currently. You can see here that if that is absolutely the preferred option, then we can work with Thames Valley District School Board and the ministry to implement as soon as possible once the moratorium is lifted. However, that would not be a relatively timely resolution to our capacity issues at Kettle Creek. And then that brings us back to the reconfigurations that we briefly highlighted at the beginning.
Right, and I think one of the considerations that the board has is, of course, minimizing the number of students that are moved. So if this is the option that is considered, while the capacity utilization, there will be a little bit of an imbalance there. Kettle Creek Public School will be at 106% in 2024 and 112% in 2029. So as you can see, it's growing there. Mitchell Hepburn, the capacity utilization will actually decrease over a period of time, 82% in 24 and 78% in 29. And Lockheed's Public School, if you convert it to grade kindergarten to grade 6, the capacity utilization there will be 95% in 24 and 87% in 29. Elgin Court, if converted to grade kindergarten to grade 6, the capacity utilization there will be 124% in 24 and 122% in 2029. Forest Park, if converted to grade 7 and 8, the capacity utilization there will be 93% in 24 and 83% in 29. John Wise, utilization there will be 84% to 90%. It will grow. And John Rose Collingwood School, we'll see a utilization of 91% in 24, which will decrease to 85% in 29. Southwold Public School, we are seeing 84% in 24 and 124% in 29, so this will grow significantly. New Salem Public Schools, 83% in 24 and 77% in 29. So this will decrease. So as you can see, there's a little bit of an imbalance. And this is the slide that we discussed initially, which talks about the percentage of student population moving in both the options that are currently being talked about, grade reconfiguration and boundary adjustment. So in each school, when you get the deck, you can actually drill down deeper. What is the percentage of students that are moving in each school, and which school is actually receiving it in both these options. Based on that, you can determine which option is a preferred option for all of you, and based on that, we can pass on our feedback to the board. Next slide, please. Okay, I think we're now towards the end of this session, and this slide is indicative of the web link where you all can go post any questions that you all have about this initiative, about this restructuring or the rezoning process, and the board will do its best to get back to you. So please take note of this, and we'll make sure that this slide deck is, of course, sent out to all of you, and we'll keep you posted on next steps.
So I'll just share here the website that you can see. This is what it looks like when you come to the website, and I'll put that slide back up for anyone who wanted to copy that down. But this is the Thames Valley landing page for the review site. And you'll see that there's the deck that we just went over with the revised presentation. Everything is accessible here that we just went over if you do want to look in detail. There's also a section to submit your questions, as well as questions and answers that have already been asked and answered. Given that we do have a few minutes left in the evening, if there's any questions that anyone would like to pose that we may have the answer to, or that we'd happily take away for you. Also, obviously highlighting the fact that we strongly recommend submitting the question yourself on the website as well to ensure that you're getting a consistent and timely response.
I guess no questions at the moment.
Are there any questions in the chat?
I'm monitoring. I don't see any.
No,
Okay.
I didn't see any come in.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Absolutely, go ahead.
If you have a child that's going to be in grade 8 in 2024, if they're in the holding zone and they're slated to go back to Mitchell Hepburn, will they be grandfathered to Kettle Creek to finish their grade 8 year?
That's certainly, I can answer that. Grandfathering is a very normal part of any sort of accommodation. So more often than not, they do make those considerations. So if the committee recommends that grade 8 students be grandfathered, the committee could recommend that whatever students are currently there could be grandfathered. I mean, it's up to the committee to decide and listen to you guys and to decide, whether or not whatever you as a community want. So they will present that. I don't know how that goes, but 99.9% grade 8s usually are grandfathered. Whether or not the rest of the school would be, don't know the answer to that.
Perfect. Thank you, Esther.
And I do see that. Oh,
Question in the
sorry.
chat.
There was a question posed in the chat. Yeah. So if we have the option to send our kids this coming September, and not just speaking to the fact that you can voluntarily choose to switch to Mitchell Hepburn, provided you do give Esther and the administrative team notice by March 1st, preferably. If you don't choose to go, what are the chances of it becoming mandatory to move the following year? So I mean, unfortunately, I think that kind of ties into the grandfathered question that we just had, where we don't have definitive guidelines about when it becomes mandatory versus grandfathered options. But according to the timeline that we've been provided currently at this point, is whatever the potential boundary changes that do end up being implemented are, if anything, then the earliest date for implementation would be September 2024, meaning the beginning of the next school year. And so whether it's mandatory or not would kind of tie back into the grandfathered option once we're presented with that. Any other questions?
I don't see any more in the chat.
If that is it, I would just like to take this opportunity on behalf of our whole school community to thank these volunteers who have so graciously taken this on. And we are very, very grateful for their leadership through this process. And I just want to let you know that on behalf of all of us, team, we are very grateful to each of you.
Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
Just to provide maybe a timeline of next steps, and again, this is also in the slide as well that's available on the public website. But as part of our subcommittee meetings, we are providing feedback and a report as it outlines or as it pertains to the feedback that we've received from our school community. And all of that is to be kind of amassed and provided to the AARC for the end of April. And from there, it'll be under review for public feedback with the Board of Trustees. So that's kind of the timeline that we have. If there's any feedback or input that you want to make sure is heard, is in the right hands, please leverage that website as often as you need to in the meantime.
As well, then, if there are suggestions for the team from the community, I would recommend that you join us at the next meeting, and the date for that will be sent through Messenger. And then by all means, at that point, it'll be more of a brainstorming and an opportunity for the community to say, hey, this is what we really think would work, and suggestions to move forward. It may be something as simple as we really want to be assured that all grade 8s will be grandfathered. We want to be assured that anyone who's currently there has the opportunity to be grandfathered. It's totally up to families to dictate what you want to present as a community. And then whether or not it gets accepted, but certainly let the team know what your thoughts are and what your preferences would be, so that they can present those as part of their review.
Absolutely. Thanks, Esther. All right, I guess with that concludes our time together. And Sharad, I'll give you closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please watch out for the email where we'll send across all of this information to you, and we'll come back to you with next steps. Thank you, and all of you have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.